Tonight confirmed, Ghana Bar Association to deliver rare rebuke of President Mahama, challenging his suspension of Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo following a controversial resolution.
Yeah, there was a resolution, just that there's not be a formal communication of the resolution to the public as GBA does on its letter signed by designated and accredited executives.
We hear from the Deputy Attorney General, plus we hear from the opposition NPP about its planned street protest against the suspension of the CJ as it accuses the governing NDC of plotting to disrupt the protest.
We submitted our notice for the demonstration on the 5th. Our request for the police is to provide security. We have every intent to make it a peaceful demonstration. We know about efforts to water down our resolve. We know about effort by the government to kind of weaken our front.
Also tonight, NPP national executives fend off attacks against its 2024 flag bearer, who is accused by some within the party of failing to take responsibility for the party's defeat.
There's only somebody who possibly would want to criticize him in a different way with a different lens. But I have been on the tour. That is what I heard. These are things that have been captured by different even reports.
And in business, President John Mahama appointed Matilda Asante-Siedu as the second deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana.
And the Ghana Football Association NKGL renew Black Stars partnership in 20 million Ghana cedi deal.
I want to join us with your views and comments all here on Newsnight 055-11-11997. Well, it is now confirmed that one of the key fallouts from the Ghana Bar Association's mid-year conference over the weekend was a controversial resolution to petition President Mahama to revoke his suspension of Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo. It emerged from that conference that members of the bar were displeased with the suspension of the Chief Justice after getting details of the 3 petitions for her removal. Sources at the conference say the lawyers were also not happy with the determination of a prima facie case in the 3 petitions, based on the 3 petitions filed for her removal. Now, members of the GBA were also displeased with the leadership of the association over a statement signed and issued by their president and secretary on the ongoing controversy. Then a member subsequently passed a resolution demanding the revocation of the Chief Justice's suspension. Now, spokesperson for the association, Xavier Kuje, confirmed this decision to my colleague, Mamesi Nyamita Thompson, on the Midday News.
Yeah, there was a resolution, just that there's not be a formal communication of the resolution to the public as GBA does on its letter signed by designated and accredited executives.
Well, Xavier, so exactly what was the resolution at that meeting?
We'll come out to the public along those lines, because it's not only that subject that was discussed. We passed resolution on a number of matters, including that one. So at the right time, you get official communication from the bar.
It's specifically when, because this thing happened on Saturday, and so people are expecting that with such a topical issue as that of the Chief Justice.
In due course.
Let's bring in Xavier Kuje now. You just heard him there talking about a decision to put that out at a later date. He joins us on the line right now. Xavier, can you share the details of the resolution with us now? Hello, Xavier, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes. Can you share the details of the resolution with me? I believe that we don't have Xavier, who's just dropped the line, but we would get him to you pretty quickly to get the specifics of that resolution. But I'm delighted to say that Dr. Justice Tremsai, who is the Deputy Attorney General, joins me now on the line. The AG is the head of the bar, correct?
Oh, sorry, this is ancestral, so maybe you need to reroute.
Hello, Dr. Justice Tremsai. Okay, I believe we also have Kwekwa Sansari with me, but I have Dr. Justice Tremsai with me.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, great. He's head of the bar, correct?
Yeah, the Attorney General is the leader of the bar.
Leader of the bar, correct. Was he at this particular conference over the weekend?
No, the Attorney General was not at the conference.
Has he been briefed about this resolution?
Attorney General has not been briefed. Like the bar president, the spokesperson for the bar said, they are yet to communicate the details of the resolutions to the Office of the Attorney General.
What has emerged, though, is that the resolution was to the effect that the suspension be revoked.
Okay.
That doesn't surprise you, does it?
I think it's shocking, but then again, you cannot conclude without seeing the reason behind the resolution, and that is because every lawyer knows that the law is not the job of a lawyer. Okay, a professional lawyer is to apply law or try to understand and explain law. And every lawyer also knows that law is not democracy. Law operates by reasoning. So that is why we lawyers can go to court, okay, and we don't argue by collecting numbers from the streets and say that because 10 million people said this, the court should accept it. We apply what we call legal reasoning. Now, the effect of what I've just said is that until we know the legal reasoning behind the resolution, we will just consider it, or it will just be another political statement from the Bar Association. Now, let me explain. The Bar Association is also a political. I mean, it's an association, right? So politics is bound to work within the bar, and so we would understand if the resolution is a political statement trying to have a political outcome. We would understand that. What we are waiting for, however, is we want to see if the resolution points to any legal breaches in the procedures so far adopted. In other words, if a resolution comes and it's pointing to the fact that instead of, for example, appointing 5 members to be on the committee, the president appointed 3 or 20, then we can consider that. If again there is a resolution which says that the president has breached any of the steps that the Constitution provides for this exercise, we would consider such a resolution and look at how to address it. Again, we would also be interested in knowing from the Bar Association if they are aware of the cases that are pending in court. And if they are aware of the cases that are pending in court, if they are also aware of the reliefs that are being sought. In other words, I expect a bar, before they give a statement or a communique, to be aware or to have in mind that the matter is also sub judice. In other words, the matter is pending before a court. And if their resolution is to, as it were, overreach the court, that also is another matter which we can consider. However, what I'm saying is that we are open-minded about this whole process. We are ready to take on board any genuine, legitimate, lawful, directive from or consent from any quarters, including the bar. But what I believe we would not advise the president to do is to advise the president to make a decision which will overreach a court order, or advise the president on a decision which is not based on law, which is based on some political interest. If it's about political interest, then I believe that the president has enough, a more comprehensive body, which is the Council of State, which has advised the president on what to do. And unless, of course, the Bar Association is claiming that the Council of State is not sufficient platform, or a proper, constitutional platform for the president to take advice and to consult with. But if it's about that, we believe that there are many, people who are at the bar who are also on the Council of State who have given, their opinion and advice to the president. And we weigh those that the advice given by the Council of State as against the advice that the Ghana Bar Association will give, and we would advise the president on which way we believe he should go.
Dr. Sai, you don't find it curious that your boss, who is a leader of the bar, 2 days after the Bar Association meet and adopt a resolution, he hasn't been briefed, he doesn't know the details of it? You don't find that curious?
No, Mike, your question to whether the bar has briefed the Attorney General. Yeah. And my answer to that was that no, the bar had not briefed the president. But that is not to say that the bar, the GBA, sorry, that does not mean that the Attorney General is not aware of what happened.
So he's aware of what happened. Has it been given
Definitely, of course, the Attorney General is aware of what happened, but there's no official communication from the bar to us on
has he been given the official reasons for that particular resolution that was adopted?
No, as far as we know, there was no reasoning behind the resolution. What we are aware of, what we know, is that the bar had passed a resolution making some suggestions. We were interested in finding out the reasoning that went into the reasoning that went to the.
And you still don't have that. You don't have.
We
the
don't have
yet.
that reason. So we are waiting for the bar to. We believe that the bar will be very efficient enough to provide us with the reasoning, and more particularly, we will want to know whether the bar had in mind or considered the fact that the matter which they were passing a resolution on is judice, is before a court, the Supreme Court for that matter.
And just a short while ago, we were able to speak to the spokesperson for the GBA, who had promised at the when we spoke to him earlier that we should expect the resolution to be published. He tells us that they are still not ready yet for us to see the communique on the back of that resolution that was adopted. But please stay with me. I want to bring in Kweku Sassari, who is a former director of the Ghana School of Law. Mr. Sassari, were you at this conference yourself?
No.
Okay. But are you surprised to learn that resolution was adopted by your colleagues, by the association, asking the president to revoke the suspension? Are you surprised to hear that?
No. I'm not surprised, and I wasn't surprised when I first heard about it.
Why were you not surprised?
That has been the stock in trade of the Ghana Bar Association over the years, so it didn't come to me as a surprise. But listening to Honorable Deputy Attorney General, my take on that matter is simply this: one, the Attorney General is the official leader of the bar, and my personal experience over the years is that in such important constitutional matters, usually the Attorney General will be invited, and if because of the affairs of state, he will not be able to attend, he will usually send his deputy, one of his deputies, to represent him, because this is a very, very important national affair, and the views of the Attorney General will be very, very important. Be that as it may, I am wondering the perspective from which the Ghana Bar Association issued that statement, having already issued a statement which impliedly supported the stance of the president. So that came to me like somersaulting, which is not in the best interest of the nation.
So to clarify though, the first was a statement last week, but this, we understand, is a resolution that was adopted. They haven't even issued a communique yet to give us the specifics of this particular resolution. So we don't know anything, in fact, apart from the confirmation by the spokesperson that indeed a resolution was adopted.
Of the bar, he ought, or his office ought to have been invited, to participate the conference, which would then pass the resolution and then subsequently issue a communique. They didn't do that, but that is, unimportant as far as the legality of what they did and the significance, the resolution to the national debate is concerned. Now, I wish the bar to understand that no entity, neither the Ghana Bar Association nor the National House of Chiefs or the Ghana National Association of Teachers can override the Constitution. They cannot. In this Chief Justice removal process, not even the Supreme Court is above the Constitution. The Constitution has laid down, rules within a certain framework. So, insofar as the president is following the dictates of the Constitution, as enshrined in Article 146, clauses 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. It cannot be faulted. The former President Nanado messed up the first petition. I think I granted an interview on your platform, and I said the earlier petition submitted on December 19th wasn't managed well, and that it will have repercussions for the nation and for the incumbent Chief Justice, and that is what we are witnessing now. The president cannot unwind the constitutional process that he has set in motion, even though the Constitution says that under Article 146 clause 11 that the president may lift the suspension. It is just an exercise of discretion. The president has set a certain machinery in motion. It has the support of the Constitution. Any contrary intervention will be unconstitutional. The president cannot, as it were, wake up tomorrow morning and say that he has aborted what he is mandated by the Constitution to do. So it is not the president alone who is in this matter. The whole nation, has an interest.
So you fundamentally disagree you fundamentally disagree with the resolution as adopted by the Ghana Bar Association at this conference, I believe. You disagree with the resolution?
I do.
Okay. And
that would be derailing the process. So far, there has been no procedural lapse. Not at all. Now, if, like the Deputy Attorney General pointed out, if there have been procedural lapses, then one can say that, the president will have to be, advised, on taking, the right steps. But so far, the process has been transparent.
Okay. And Dr. Stremsai, of what consequence is this resolution to the process that is currently in motion, as far as you're concerned, as a chief legal advisor to the state, to the president himself?
Evans. Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Justice Stremsai, I can hear you.
Yeah, Evans, sorry, can you repeat the question?
No, I was asking you of what consequences is this resolution to the process that is already in motion as a chief advisor to the state and to the president himself?
I mean, speaking from the perspective of law, this resolution has no bearing, it has no effect on the process at all. Indeed, if what the resolution is saying is anything to go by, it is only an act of lawlessness, an act of lawlessness asking the president to do something which is contrary to the Constitution. It's also an act of lawlessness asking the president to take a decision on a matter which is before a court of law. So as far as we are concerned, the president is on track.
Justice, you're accusing the Bar Association of being lawless.
No one is above the law, and no one is also above lawlessness. So if I act lawlessly, I think you are entitled to describe my behavior as lawlessness. And if I act lawfully, you would describe it as such. And it is not an accusation in terms of that, because as I've stated, I've given the reasons why I think the suggestion or the communique, if that is what it is lawless. Because first of all, there is a case which is seeking the same release on the court. And we all know that as lawyers, we shouldn't take decisions that will overreach orders of the court. That is one. Two, we are also aware that we have not been pointed. The president's process has not been pointed. No error has been pointed out by the bar so far, and we have not seen any error in that. So the call on the president to do that which would amount to unconstitutionality, as my colleague who just spoke said, could only be lawless.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Justice Stremsai is a Deputy Attorney General. L.A. Headquarters Nasari is a former director of the Ghana School of Law there. Well, still on this particular evolving subject of the suspension of the Chief Justice, today the main opposition, New Patriotic Party, they've been meeting the police on its planned street protest. We've been listening to the party's Director of Communications, Richard Ahiagba, who has been telling us about the outcome of the particular meeting with the police.
This most especially is a call for all Ghanaians to come out and demonstrate against the president's move to remove the Chief Justice, which we find to be against the Constitution, we find to be egregious, we find to be unnecessary, a political attempt to subjugate the judiciary. And so we went to the registry, submitted our notice for the demonstration on the 5th. Our request for the police is to provide security. We have every intent to make it a peaceful demonstration. Theirs is to come and support us and ensure that the demonstration goes on peacefully without any disruption to public peace and order.
Looking at the notice that we've given to the police, do we know the timelines?
Yeah, the demonstration starts very early in the morning. By 7 o'clock, we should be on the road. We're starting at the Supreme Court, a park opposite the Supreme Court. We're walking from there through Parliament House, and then we're terminating at the Jubilee House. And then that's where we'll submit our petition to the president.
Well, on the Ghana Union Movement withdrawal from the protest, Richard Ahiagba accused the National Democratic Congress of plotting to disrupt the upcoming demonstration by influencing participants to withdraw.
I'm not sure any political party worth its salt would want to withdraw from a legitimate demonstration that gives its essence. If you go back in our history, in May sometime 1992, when the ban on political party activities was lifted, this country came alive. And now when we have that live, the opportunity to preserve this democracy, to have a political party that says they won't be part of it, for me is strange. And I can see the only reason for any political party to say anything like that, remotely close to it, is that the government is behind it. We know about efforts to water down our resolve. We know about effort by the government to kind of weaken our front, but we will urge the membership or the leadership of GUM to stand strong, to stand for democracy, so that we can have a political party. Because if we don't have a democracy, you don't have a political party. So they should reconsider their position, join with us.
And that there is the Director of Communications for the NPP on the back of their meeting with the police today on that protest that they plan to embark on to protest against the suspension of the Chief Justice. I want to hear from you, 055-11-11-997. We'll hear from both the NDC and the Ghana Union Movement pretty shortly on the controversy. In the meantime, though, it's been 15 years since the devastating fire at the Kotokraba market shook Cape Coast, displacing hundreds and exposing serious gaps in the market as far as safety is concerned. But today, there is a new chapter marked by vigilance and reform. The Ghana National Fire Service, under the leadership of ACFO Mary Atega Mensah, has introduced a 24-hour surveillance system at the market, including Kotokraba and Ibra, as part of proactive efforts to prevent further disasters. In a fire feature series today, a Central Regional correspondent, Eric Asante, looks back at the tragedy, the legal battles that followed, and the transformation restoring confidence among traders at the Kotokraba market.
In April 2010, fire gutted several shops and temporary structures at the Kotokraba market, displacing hundreds of traders and resulting in losses worth millions of cedis. The fire, reportedly caused by electric fault, exposed the vulnerability of the market's infrastructure and the glaring absence of emergency preparedness. It wasn't just the lost goods, it was livelihood, legacies, and a sense of security. What followed was a prolonged legal battle between some traders and the Cape Coast Metropolitan Assembly. At the center of the legal tussle was the fate of the old market, to demolish or not. The Cape Coast High Court, presided over by His Lordship Justice Kwesi Dapa, finally ruled in favor of a demolition, clearing the path for the construction of an ultramodern facility. The project was one of the flagship initiatives championed by the late President John Evans Fifi Atta Mills. Today, the Kotokraba market stands transformed. Fire hydrants, emergency exits, organized stalls, and a better wiring system. ACFO Mary Atega Mensah have since January 2025 introduced a 24-hour surveillance at key markets, including the Kotokraba and Abra markets.
This initiative was prompted as when the Quantamanto fire, on the 2nd January fire outbreak. So I went to a shop, and there was an intel that the following city will be Tema. It was there that when I came to the office and I called my main management, and we sat down to strategize how to go about it, so that we will now be found wanting.
And that there is that report for our Fire Cycle series. You want to watch the full episode of the feature on across our social media platforms on YouTube, Facebook, but also on X. Eric Asante filed that report. And I want to quickly return to that controversy around the NPP planned demonstration, which has now been scheduled for next week. They met with the police today and they have the all clear, they say, to proceed. At the heart of this, though, is a controversy around some of the political parties. The party had already advertised that they were joining the protests. One of the political parties named is the Ghana Union Movement. They issued a disclaimer over the weekend insisting that they had no idea about this particular protest and that they've never been informed, engaged, or the party's consent sought in any official meeting to that effect. Just been joined on the line right now by the General Secretary of the party, Anthony Ahenfo, joins us right now. Anthony, thanks for your time here on Newsnight.
Hello.
Hello, Anthony. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Great. So you say that you were not involved in any decision to participate, but did your flag bearer participate in the decision to join the NPP on this particular protest?
No, please, he did not.
And at no time were other officers of the party involved in the decision to join the party at the protest?
Okay, if I can give a brief explanation of what happened. My communication director was called to attend to a meeting without knowing what was the agenda. You know, most of these political party leaders are friends. So if your friend calls you that, oh, I want to have a meeting with you, so come, you will definitely go. So when he went to the meeting and they gave him the agenda, he called me and he told them that he needs to inform me before any decision can be made. So he called me that this is what has been brought before us. And I told him that, okay, we need to have at least 24 hours to think about it. It was not even the next morning. That very evening, I heard that it is all over the news that we have participated in such decision making. So he was called to attend the meeting. They presented the agenda before him at the meeting. He told them he needs to call me first. He called me to tell me about it. I told him we need to have time to think about it, and before we realized our names were included.
I mean, but once he went to that particular meeting, you say, and he was given the agenda, the assumption is that he, by virtue of agreeing to be there, shared the views of those who called him, which is the NPP.
The NPP did not call him. It was one of our friends, Jerry, who called him that they wanted to meet him. And Jerry is a good friend. I called him, he called me, even without meeting schedules. We talk, we share jokes, we do so many things. So if your friend tells you that there is a meeting I want you to attend, without knowing the agenda, definitely you go. So he went and they put the agenda before him. It was then that he called me that I need to talk to my general secretary, and he told me. So the knowing of the agenda from that point, not before he went to the meeting.
I mean, I find it curious that a whole leader of a political party will agree to attend a meeting, even if it's the friend who called him. He didn't know, he didn't ask the question, who is asking for this meeting and what they want me there for?
I think that question is best answered by my communication director why he went without asking for the agenda. But he told me after the meeting that this is what he was told.
I mean, the NPP alleges that the NDC got you to back out of this planned protest and that this is not something that you took by yourselves.
My brother, it can never be true. Since Saturday, I have spoken with Nana B over 10 times. I can tell you for a fact that I have not spoken directly with any NDC top official on that matter. Not even one. They might have heard it in the news or probably this our social media something. But I have personally not spoken to any NDC executive. But I have spoken to Nana B at least 8 or more times.
What were you talking to Nana B about?
It was for us to join while we are backing off. And I told him we needed time to think about it. We are not for this or that side. But at least if someone presents something before you, you need, as a reasonable human being, you need to think about it before you give your consent.
So after talking to him for, 8 or 10 times, have you made up your mind now? Would you join?
No, we cannot join because we think that demonstration is too premature.
Thank you very much. And that there is the General Secretary of the Ghana Union Movement on the NPP's planned protest after they met the police today. And they had announced that they were going to do it together with a coalition of political parties. One of the political parties that they had put forward was the Ghana Union Movement. I want to bring in the Dr. Tanko Rashid, Computers, the Deputy Director of Elections and IT with the NDC. It joins us on the line right now. Dr. Rashid Tanko, did you get GUM, that's the Ghana Union Movement, to back out of this planned protest?
Evans, let me say good evening to you and your cherished listeners. I'm happy the gentleman has dismissed the NPP with their propaganda. The propaganda that sent them to opposition. In fact, you see, rational human beings have seen the hypocrisy in their the demonstration that they want to do. So because of that, they are running away from them. After analyzing it, they realize that it's full of hypocrisy, and in fact, we have not coming from even a distance. It's just a short distance hypocrisy is what they are exhibiting. And then so they've seen it.
I mean, but you have an interest in ensuring that this protest is not successful.
That's not our interest. The NDC has no business in that. We have no interest in whatever they are doing. That is their democratic right. Our interest as of now is to how to deliver the goods that we promise the good people of Ghana. And we are doing excellently well on that. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is focused on implementing the manifesto promises. As we speak now, he's in Kumasi and he's going to launch a lot of activities that will create job opportunity for the youth. That is what we are interested in. Whatever they are doing, that's their democratic right. It's embedded in the 92 Constitution. They can go ahead. But we want to let them know that, look, peace is paramount and they should be civil in whatever they are going to do. We have no problem with that at all. So for them to sit down and imagine that the NDC can convince a political party to join this union as if those political parties don't have mind of themselves, it's an insult. They are insulting them.
Dr. Tanko Rashid, thank you very much. And that is the Deputy Director of Elections and IT with the NDC. I'll share your thoughts on the rest of the world pretty shortly. I want to do some business now and some very important news that you have at the top of the hour. You give an indication that we have a new Deputy Governor of the
Second
Central
Deputy
Bank.
Governor of the Bank of Ghana. Also coming up in business this evening, President John Mahama appointed Matilda Santi-Sidu as the second Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, and stakeholders in pharmaceutical sector bemoan constant default in payment for goods supply, warning it is affecting distribution of medicine in the country. Business News on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all office essentials, Syntex tanks, and Pepsodent Herbal and Charcoal. Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. I am James Ishan. Let's settle for the details now. And President John Mahama has appointed Matilda Asante-Siedu as the second Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana. The appointment made under Section 17 of the Bank of Ghana Act 2002, Act 612, underscores government commitment to bringing seasoned expertise to the nation's financial sector. This was contained in a statement signed by spokesperson to the President and Minister for Government Communications, Felix Kwachi Ofosu. The following report has more.
According to the statement, Mrs. Asante-Siedu brings an impressive portfolio of qualifications and experience to her new role. She holds an MBA in marketing from Gimpa Business School and an MA in journalism studies from Cardiff University. Her academic foundation includes diploma in journalism from the Ghana Institute of Journalism, as well as politics and public affairs reporting from the International Institute of Journalism in Berlin. Most recently, she earned certification as a chartered executive banker from the Chartered Institute of Banking in 2024, further cementing her credentials in the financial sector. Her professional journey includes serving as group head of retail banking at Access Bank PLC, where she demonstrated exceptional leadership in driving growth and innovation in retail financial services. Mrs. Asante-Siedu further enhanced her expertise through executive programs at prestigious global institutions, including Surrey Business School at Oxford University, Wharton School, and Marquette University Les Pence Center. This appointment comes at a pivotal moment for Ghana's economy as the Bank of Ghana continues to address critical challenges including inflation control, currency stability, and financial sector reforms.
And that was a news desk report. Now to some other stories. Players in the pharmaceutical sector have bemoaned the lack of proper credit financing structures to safeguard importers and wholesalers of pharmaceutical products. According to the Ghana National Chamber of Pharmacy, goods supplied on credit are sometimes not paid for or delayed in payments, leading to cash flow issues. Speaking to Joy Business at the stakeholders meeting, Chief Executive of the Ghana National Chamber of Pharmacy, Audrey Sewabonsu, called for collaborations with relevant authorities to ensure a seamless credit system.
I dare say 80 to 90%, 98% do credit. And so then you can imagine when the person is aware that, okay, I'm getting this money, these goods to sell. If I don't have personal integrity or credibility, I will not pay back. I would rather divert the cash into doing other things. And so then that is what has now become the norm or the order of the day. And people now say that the industry is a sweet one because they know that you are thriving or doing the business on credits. And so it's a big challenge where it has become one of the major issues when it comes to the industry with regards to credits and financing.
Audrey Sewabonsu is the Chief Executive of the Ghana National Chamber of Pharmacy. Now, the Ghana Association of Forex Bureaus is urging Ghanaians to avoid doing business with Forex Bureaus operators that fail to issue receipts or VAT invoices. The association has also appealed to the public to report such Forex Bureaus to the Bank of Ghana for sanctions to be taken against them. According to President of the association, Dr. Alex Akpabli, the association is working to sanitize the sector and promote professionalism among Forex operators. He shared these remarks in an interview with Joy Business.
It has been one of biggest challenge. On records, some of the bureaus have consolidated, but so the total now is 369 forest bureaus in operation. 369. But to be very honest with you, there are bureaus that are operating without license. And it's very, very difficult to, sometimes you see people telling us that this bureau they think that they have no license, they don't issue receipts. Once you know that they are not, because now every bureau must issue receipts, and we are doing that.
Dr. Alex Akpabli is the president of the Ghana Association of Forex Bureaus. Now, Advanced Ghana Enterprise Insurance and Turaco Insurance have collaborated to pay claims to the tune of 8.9 million cedis to traders affected by the recent Kantamanto market fire. According to the chief executive of Advanced Ghana, Guillaume Valenche, this is aimed at helping the affected customers to recover from their unexpected setbacks and continue their businesses.
And the fire occurred in January. It was a shock. And the next question was, okay, how can we not only pay claims to clients to enable them to think about something else than just repaying their loan, but also what we can do for them to be back to business as fast as possible. So, of course, we paid the claims. We said it earlier, 227 for almost 9 million Ghana cedi. But the next question was, can we disburse loans for them to restart their business as fast as possible? So as I speak, out of the 227, about 130 people were eligible and close to 60 people got a restart loan, over 2.5 million total. And we are doing that because this is business of Ghana. So if we support petty traders, if we support small businesses, we support Ghana.
And that was the Chief Executive of Advance Ghana, Guillem Valente. And that's all for Business on Newsnight with me, James Ishin.
James, thank you very much. We can do some sports now. Granting is here with the details.
Straight into the stories. And the Ghana Football Association had signed a new 2-year sponsorship deal worth 20 million Ghana cedis with KGL for the Black Stars. This renewal comes after the expiration of the 14 million Ghana cedi deal, which lasted 4 years. The new sponsorship contract is expected to run up until 2027, making his first media appearance since being appointed CAF second vice president. The GFA president, Keto Greco, expressed his gratitude to KGL Group for their continuous support. Moving on, the sports minister, Kofi Adams, has called on the newly elected leadership of the Ghana Olympic Committee to put aside petty squabbles and prioritize talent development. The minister described the election results as a clear testament to the confident repose in the leadership and vision of by the Ghanaian sports fraternity.
As possible, let's try and be blind to who said what and didn't say what in the course of the journey towards this point. Sports, and for that matter, Olympic and non-Olympic sport, is what should be the order of the day. And the young ones, especially the grassroots. As I listened to your story, you told us where you began from. We want the younger ones who are at the stage where you began from to also get that opportunity. That should preoccupy these leaders. And I know we can do it. We would have to reset our sports ecosystem.
Sports Minister Kofi Adams speaking then. The Joy Sport Pap Series returns tomorrow with the UEFA Champions League semi-final action. Tomorrow we are pounced by Eagles for the clash between Arsenal and PSG. That brings an end to sports. Back to you, Evans.
And thank you, Kranting. Now, President Mahama today launched an initiative aimed at creating the enabling environment for young people to set up their own businesses. We'll hear from the President pretty shortly in a moment, but first, some entrepreneurs at the event have been assessing the initiative. The CEO of Horseman Shoes, Tony Senya, and Kafuyaja spoke to my colleague, Maxwell Ababa.
The initiatives are great on their own, but it's better if it is implemented. It is the implementation that counts. Like on paper, it sounds great. So for me, my hope is that it will be implemented as it has been sold to us. So I have faith in Eric Eje and his team, Joan, that they will implement it according to the vision of the president. And again, the most important thing is not having a lot of beneficiaries, but rather building sustainable businesses, which is very important for me. In the past, what has happened is we give money to businesses, small money, so that we can say that a lot of people, X number of people have benefited. But what I want this program to achieve is to look at the quality and build quality, sustainable businesses.
My name is Kafuyaja. I'm an entrepreneur, the CEO of Akosombo In-Flight Catering. I think this program, this initiative is a good thing because it's going to help startups, especially youth startups, to begin to start their programs with at least some minimum capital.
I want to take you live now to the Ashanti Regional Capital where the launch happened. Maxwell Ababa is there and joins us on the line right now. And Maxwell, the president has been speaking, but how did he articulate this as a game changer in terms of the difference it could make? We've seen similar programs in the past become abuse, really, and not achieve the results that was articulated at the beginning.
Yes, it was one of the concerns that he raised in his speech, that a lot of social interventions and initiatives like this in the past were launched with pomp and pageantry and a lot of fanfare. But he said at the end of the day, the goals of the initiatives were not achieved. He gave the assurance that the Adwumawura initiative is not one of those initiatives where the goals of it will be like a mirage. He says there is financing for it, which the budget caters for, and he said he's optimistic that it will achieve its full goals of providing jobs for young entrepreneurs.
But let me point out that this program is not like others that were announced in the recent past with a lot of fanfare, but proved to be mirages without adequate funding to sustain them. Adwumawura is fully funded with adequate allocation. Adwumawura is fully funded with adequate allocation provided by the Ministry of Finance in the 2025 budget. My young brothers and sisters, many big businesses of today were the startups and micro enterprises of yesterday. The Adwumawura program is designed to be inclusive. It's designed to be youth-led. It's designed to be Ghanaian-owned. And so you must be a Ghanaian to be part of the Adwumawura program. And the Adwumawura program is regardless of your educational background. You can have little formal education, but you can become an entrepreneur, and the Adwumawura will help you to do that. Whether you are university graduates, you graduated from technical school, vocational school, alumni, you are a senior high school leaver, or even those with little or no formal education, you will have equal access to opportunities under this program. In line with my government's commitment to inclusivity and equity, I wish to announce that at least 60% of the beneficiaries will be drawn from women and girls, especially in male-dominated trades, will be drawn from persons living with disability.
And that there is President John Mahama. Now, national executives of the opposition NPP are fighting off claims among some of its members that its 2024 flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is refusing to accept responsibility for its humiliating defeat in the 2024 elections. Now, some officials within the NPP are accusing the former vice president of failing to take responsibility. The former vice president, who was the NPP's flag bearer, is also accused of denigrating former President Akufo-Addo's record with some of his utterances on the ongoing thank you tour. While Dr. Bawumia in the Western region on Saturday blamed the NPP's defeat on what he called arrogance of power.
The big issues are one, cost of living. It was a major issue. Nipa ebufuye. The kanu eye adia yefreno arrogance of power. Expresse yasun na eye din. Yasun din yentie asem party for country say yenye reshuffle. 8 years yanti party for country say yempe 11 no abahagin. The Tosuniansa Party for countries say haircuts no debt restructuring no DDEP say debt restructuring no ebehagi because most of them are pensioners. Now you can't say ye meeting and you can't say yamfa omon kaho you be you moifumo and Omanpenin announcing said there will be no haircut but ebaye no ye be ye haircut.
National Cathedral here, see after $58 million. Now, Nipa Bibrebu is Oko Galamsey, our approach in Galamsey, that costly.
And that there's the former vice president. Three major things he says. The decision to pass that bill, the e-levy bill, he says was controversial, but he also talks about arrogance of power that he says was a major factor in their defeat. But we've heard from some members of the party, including the spokesperson, former spokesperson for the Education Ministry. He's also the spokesperson for Kennedy Japan, who accuses the vice president of seeking to whitewash himself. The party's national organizer, though, Henry Nanabuachi, says he was simply articulating the causes of the NPP's defeat in the last elections.
Saying that the government, and he was part. And indeed, these are issues raised several times in different platforms. So these are not new matters.
Joining me right now is Dennis Miracles Obwaje, is Dr. Bawumia's aide. He joins me on the line right now. The thank you tour is still ongoing, and Dr. Bawumia is still on the ground today, meeting with supporters. Where has it been? And I noticed that the message is still articulating what he believes to be the reasons why the party lost and his ideas on how you can come together, unite for victory in 2028.
Thank you, Ivan. So today we've done Ahafo and in the Bono region, Karedis, we've done Brekum. So far we've done Western region, Western North, Ahafo, and then we are wrapping up with Bono region. So I think, like you rightly said, the thank you tour has two models. The meetings are at two levels. Let me put it that way. There is always a closed door meeting with the General Secretary and the flag bearer, the leadership on the tour, together with the party leadership in the region, constituency chairman and regional executives and key party stakeholders, where the critical issues that have to do with the rebuilding and reorganization of the party at that regional level is discussed. In there also are some very important highlights and details of the election review report shared with that region. And so these are relevant issues specific to the region for them to also understand the way forward and the recommendations therein for action. And these information would also be cascaded to the constituency at the police station level by the regional leadership for each constituency in each region to also understand critically the role they need to play and the way forward and the recommendations therein by the Michael Quay report and what they need to do.
Very briefly, in a few seconds, what is the end game here with this thank you tour?
It's part of our rebuilding process. We are reorganizing. The party leadership is basically letting the party people know what the issues were, what we could have done better, what we need to do going into the future, and the recommendations that have been made and the way forward for each stakeholder in the party from the bottom to the top.
Thank you very much. And that there is Dennis Miracles Obwaje, the Dr. Bawumia's aide, and that's it for Newsnight tonight. You can catch the rest of our stories on myjoyonline.com. In fact, we have more on everything else we've had here on Newsnight on many social media platforms. Enjoy the rest of the evening.